Hello and welcome to the third episode of Two Men and a Bell. Today's episode is all about gaming. So once again, you've got your hosts, Joseph and myself, Christopher. And Joseph, would you like to introduce who we've got with us today?
Yes, and to talk about gaming today, we are joined by Kenza
Hi.
and Maya.
Hello.
So, again, the views in this podcast do not represent the views of St Aidan's High School, North Lanarkshire Council, or any other organisation which the people may represent. Let's go for it. Joseph,
So,
take us off.
point number 9 on our very fancy new agenda we've got, because
Ooh.
we're well organised now, is it's talking about gaming, and I sort of want to link a few points into this, but it's talking about, do you game to relax? Christopher, let's start with you.
Yeah, I'd say I do. But it depends on what mood I'm in. Sometimes I'm in quite a competitive mood, so I'll go for a racing game. But if I'm wanting to just chill out, I'll maybe go for like a nice puzzle game or something along those veins, or perhaps just one of those games that are stupidity sandbox like Just Cause.
Fair enough. What about you, Maya? Do you game to relax, or do you take it more seriously?
Nah, I take it really seriously. It's like sad.
Fair enough. Kenza?
I don't know, I'm more like competitive, so
Fair enough.
Joseph?
anger issues and that.
I'd say I do it far too much. So I'd say I do it as a form of relaxation. I did want to ask, how much do you think you do play video games, Christopher?
It depends on my schedule for the week, really. When I've got free time, I'd maybe try and 5 or 6 hours a week, roughly.
Fair enough. Maya, do you play that much, or you gave him an incredulous look there? Is that a ridiculous amount?
That's like too little. Like, damn. What you
How much do you play? Roughly.
play like days. Like, you don't understand.
Fair enough. Kenza?
No, I don't know. I just sit, right, and I have it on, and then I'm like, oh, I want to play right now. And I'm like, no. So I don't know. Not that much, but like, not too much. Like, not too little.
Not as much as the zombies we've got in front of us.
Yeah, unless it's like GTA, then I'd be like,
Joseph?
I'd say I play it really far too much. I'll not
Especially when you play one of those Bethesda games you love
I'll not
so
put,
much.
I'll not put a number on it, but too much is the answer. So I wanted to link in here, since this is more opinion based. Since we have talked about the fact that some of us play video games more than others, I just gave everybody a look. I did want to ask, this is now getting very serious, do you think certain video games kind of affect, if you play them far too much, children in any way? Has anybody got any strong thoughts?
Yeah. Look, for instance, when I was younger, I played a lot of Minecraft. I didn't have the urge to go out and punch a tree until it fell down. But it's like, I've played a lot of racing simulators and stuff that through my time gaming. I wouldn't say I'm a racing driver. I certainly don't go out and speed along the motorway when I'm on my driving lessons. So no, I wouldn't say they do have that great of an impact to the average Joe, but they certainly could do, depending on what the individual circumstances.
What do you think, Maya? Have you ever been affected by any games you've ever played?
No. I mean, like, sometimes some people find it hard to go out and, like, socialise when they've just got that thing right there that's, like, always going to be there.
So, Kenza, do you think you've ever been affected by playing video games anyway?
to be fair, probably. I was always quite excited as a child to like go on all these like fun games and be a wee racer. But like, you know,
Kenza the racer boy,
yeah,
that's what they used to call him.
genuinely, yes. Like that was like my go-to thing. You know, like the little steering wheel and the pedals. Oh my god,
They were cool.
that was like
I remember them.
I was an
Yeah.
adrenaline junkie, so like probably that affected me quite a lot.
Remember you used to get seats that vibrated as like you braked and stuff?
Still
Oh
get
my
them.
god, yeah.
Oh, I really want one.
Those were the stuff back then.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Joseph,
Good old days
what's your opinions on that question?
I don't think much. I don't know. I do play a lot of video games. I will admit, I have played in my time some violent video games.
Oh yes.
I haven't stabbed anyone.
No.
Might be a bit too topical a joke at the moment. Oh God.
For the record, Joseph just cowered away from the microphone.
No, I don't think I've been too affected. I kind of want to link this into another point. Every time there's, say for instance, a mass shooting in America, everybody always brings out the old, you played Call of Duty,
Yeah.
you must be violent. Do you think that actually,
No.
not at all?
No. I mean, obviously it gives younger people the impression of like, is this right or is this wrong? Like I don't know. But also there's age limits on these games. And then for like a 7-year-old playing Call of Duty, in the darkness of their room, in the corner,
In the basement.
yeah, like stuck to the television, 24 hours of the day, near enough, not even going to school, like, then obviously there's going to be like repercussions to that, and then they're going to be like, this is normal, and especially because of the gun laws in like America, then it's like,
So you think it's like anything where if you do it too much, it does affect you, but anything,
Yeah.
if you drink too much alcohol,
You're
it
getting
affects
Yeah.
you.
into the dogs,
Fair
yeah.
enough. What do you think, Maya? Do you think there's the stereotype of the mass shooter who played all these violent video games, or do you think it's just like anything else? If you play it too much, it will affect you.
Yeah, I think if you played it too much, it would.
Fair enough.
Joseph, any opinions?
Oh God, I'm getting asked questions now. I don't know if I like this. I don't know. I feel like it is like anything else, like drugs or alcohol, or I don't like comparing it to like things like that though, because it's not. It's like watching the television. If you watch too much television, you will become fat and sit on your couch and do nothing. Same thing with video games.
it's like an addiction, but like one of those hidden addictions.
So I'd like to come back to something that Kenza said. There is an age restriction on these games. What do you think on age restrictions in general? Are they being policed enough? Are they getting enforced, Joseph?
Well, I always remember. I feel like I'm admitting to breaking the law here, but I did play games before I was meant to. But I always remember going to Game back when you bought your game back in the good
Your
old
games in
days.
person, yeah.
Bought them in person and trying to buy a game that was much older than me. And the guy going, no, you can't do that. And then going getting my mum and getting my mum to buy it. I was like, well, I've just found a workabout to this system. My mum's an adult. As long as I tell her it's a fine game, she'll give me it.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really enforce things like that, though, can you?
But then they could treat it like the alcohol laws, where, let's say, as you said, you walked up and tried to buy some alcohol, and you were told, no, you can't buy that.
Get
Then
a
you walk
jump
up
in.
with your mum, and she buys the alcohol. They probably wouldn't sell it to your mum because the likelihood is she's buying it for you. Well,
But
if,
then
if they
they're-
treated it like that, yes, the sales might go down a little, but they're enforcing the restrictions.
But like again, that's like you can't like. It's kind of the same like that, like, but not because like it's alcohol in a game. So they're not. That's like one extreme to another kind of thing.
I'm making the
But-
point that the age restrictions are there for a reason.
Yeah.
It's 18 for alcohol, it's 18 for GTA. It's
I know,
obviously
but,
there for a
like,
reason.
They're obviously not going to be like, oh well.
It's even
Some places would maybe be like, I know that that's for your child that just tried to buy it 2 seconds ago. But at the same time, they can't go, oh well, you're not of age, I can't give you it. Kind of by law, they have to give you it if you're old enough.
It's in the point I was going to raise. As I've now forgot. Oh, yes. See if you took the average age of like a GTA player. It probably is below 18, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Probably
It's like
about
11.
16.
11.
I'm not kidding.
These
11.
kids on their Fortnites and their racing games and all. were
I would
done
probably
to
estimate
them.
it's around about 16 would be the average age for a GTA player.
No.
I don't think it'd be as
I
low
played
as
GTA
11,
way before that.
but yes, we might have played it personally before then, but I think on average it would come out a bit closer to the age limit because there is obviously much older people play as well.
Do they?
But would it
I'm
really?
imagining a 60-year-old granddad with his racing mobile.
He's like, I can't do this in real life. Oh my god.
No, but in all seriousness, Do you think it's a problem that can ever be fixed? Do you think there's a solution, or do you think it's just one of those things kind of the game development community will have to accept?
I think it's just something that they have
Yeah.
to accept.
Yeah.
Because I did some research on this in S2 to do with age restrictions and stuff. If your parent buys it and then hands it to you, they're not actually breaking the law.
No.
Look, as soon as that's left the store, that age restriction is just advisory. It's only really law when it's in the shop. As soon as it leaves there, it's, oh, we think you should be 18 before you play this, but we can't really do anything. It's the same with buying the games on the online stores, like your Microsoft store, or buying it on Amazon and getting it delivered. They can't police the age ratings in any way. So there's really nothing they can do. It's just an accepted fact that folk younger than the age ratings will play these games.
Yeah. Good point.
I've now got the stereotype of an 11-year-old sitting playing video games in the basement wearing like all black. That's a terrible stereotype, isn't it?
That's what we're trying to avoid here, Joseph.
True.
Oh God.
Right, I'd like to come on to a slightly more topical point. We're fast approaching the release window for many AAA studio games. By AAA, I'm talking about your EAs, your Activisions, the big companies. So we've got our FIFAs coming out, the new Call of Duties. It's fast approaching E3, so that's all going to be announced shortly. But what I want to ask is, are AAA studios now sending out unfinished games and finishing them along the year with patches because they know people will buy it anyway? Like, you just need to look at Bethesda as a prime example.
I feel
Look at Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. It was buggy messes when they were released.
Bethesda games are always buggy messes, and they're great games. However, I feel bad doing this. I love the Fallout series, I love the Elder Scrolls series, but Fallout 76 was just a mess when they released it. It didn't work. Not everything broke. I think it's indicative of a wider trend of like Mass Effect Andromeda. Do you ever play it?
I didn't play it, but I know it has a reputation.
It released in the opening, like the opening first time you see your character is like they look at, they come out of like cryo sleep, and the face like animations were atrocious. It looked like a monster coming out, and it was just. I think big studios have decided they can get away with, see, as long as they have a title on the front, people will buy it. Like Call of Duty, every single year they release a game. And it's basically the game from the year before.
Yeah. As long as it's got some kind of branding that people will go for, then it's like in demand.
Maya, any opinions on AAA studios sending out unfinished games?
Yeah, I think they do that because in Call of Duty 4, there was a patch in the Easter egg, and it wasn't working for so long, and everyone kept complaining about it. So.
Well, Call of Duty 4 was quite some time ago, so it is expected that there was bugs and stuff in that game because it was long before we would even use the term AAA studios.
But still, even then, you see when I buy a game, I expect the game to work.
Yeah.
I don't expect to have to wait a couple weeks for the developer to fix it.
Yeah.
And I guess there's lots of issues with, like, for instance, Fallout 76 had a lot of issues with multiplayer servers. I guess I get that you can't do that without people on the servers. But there's lots of little things and lots of stupid things that really should be caught. Lots of things that if you watch the film, you wouldn't expect to be in it. Like, for instance, it just came out recently. I keep talking about Fallout because I'm a fan. The coding they'd put for the end of the game, that you launch, spoilers, you launch nuclear missiles, right? But the code...
As you do.
The code, because it's online, they put 2018 as part of the coding line, which I don't do coding, I'm sure you are. So see, when the new year hit and it became 2019,
Yep.
it broke and it stopped working.
Yeah.
And you would see in a film, if one of the swords, like a main character was wielding, just split in two, but they kept the shot going. But it split in two, like, and flopped over. You wouldn't expect that to be in the final cut of a game. You'd expect an editor to go in and find that.
Yeah.
Or if you could hear somebody screaming in the background like obscenities in a child's film, you wouldn't let that go, would you? But there seems to be this thing that games can get away with that sort of stuff. It annoys me.
Yeah.
When you're talking about glitching there, that brings us on to quite an interesting point. What's your views on glitches? Obviously, some of them can be absolutely hilarious. We all love it when we set off like some sort of explosion and someone gets lodged in a wall. Like, their graphics going all over the place. That's funny. But what about the more serious game-breaking glitches, like Joseph said, that small bit of code that completely broke Fallout 76?
Personally, you either hate or you love it, depending on what it is and like what game it is. Like GTA, like everyone loves it because it's funny, and it's like weird and like
Yeah,
random.
it's like the swings glitch in one of the GTAs.
But then it's like if it's an actual game and you're trying to play the game and it's like not meant to have anything like that in it, or if it's like not online or whatever, then obviously it's really frustrating. Like personally, I hate it.
One of the experiences which always bugged me was playing Battlefield 1, which was a terrible game for trying to get into a game with your friends. Sit for like an hour in the main menu trying to get into a server. But I remember you can put a gas mask on because there's gas in the game. And I remember every time you put the gas mask on, it cuts out the rest, so you just see the eye holes. But it was like blue and black squares, just where the eye holes are. And that's all you could see. You could hear the explosion and the bullets whizzing past. And I was buckled because I was like, I feel like a blind person in a battlefield zone. Like, I can't take it off because I'm still surrounded by gas. I don't know if the gases went away yet. But it really bugged me because I was like, this is a AAA game. This released, I don't know the budget, but the budget was huge for that game. But nobody ever caught such a silly mistake.
Yeah, because you're supposed to see like different angles. Like, who wants to play a game you can't even see anything?
It's terrible, it really is.
And I remember you mentioning earlier, multiplayer servers. The game studios can do stress tests. That's where the public betas come in. That's basically a stress test for their servers.
Yeah.
Any AAA studio should be doing one of those. Like, give us a small sneak peek of your game, and what you call it?
You get
Find
feedback.
out, find out if your servers work. But what annoys me about it is when they make it a pre-order bonus.
They charge to
Yeah.
get into the stress test.
Yeah, they charge you to find out if their game works.
Yeah, I don't get
That public betas should be free. Like I would do a lot of testing for Microsoft on the Xbox One system. Microsoft don't charge me to send me updates. It's like, bear in mind, this might be broken, but we want you to know. We want you to tell us if it works.
Yeah.
I accept that responsibility and I do the tests.
Yeah.
I don't pay Microsoft for it. Microsoft don't pay me. It's just a mutual agreement. It's like, I'll enjoy some swanky new features before everyone else. You find out if these swanky new features work.
But then that is the problem though, because they're charging everyone because they know that, you know, they're gamers and like whoever their audience and whoever's playing it, they're like young and they know that they'll get the money to go buy it, and then they'll go actually buy the like real game if it comes out or when it comes out or whatever. So they're just making money off everyone.
I did call Battlefield 1 incredibly buggy and multiplayer servers are terrible. But one of the things I can give it is the opening beta was free to play. And it was some of the best fun I've ever had. 5 or 6 of me and my mates playing. There was only one map in the beta, but repeatedly playing that map and getting very good at it for like 5 or 6 days while they tested everything. It was some great fun, and I can tell you, as soon as the game came out, I bought it because of the fun I'd had in that beta.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would have if I'd had to pay to get on that beta.
Yeah, because it's not even like they're like cheap. It's like the exact same price as like a normal game, and then it doesn't even have everything in it. And then you're like,
And usually you're buying the game before you've tried it out. It's like
Yeah.
you don't know if you're going to like it, but now you're committed to buy it because you've just given Activision £70 to get into a glorified stress test. Maya, what do you think about glitches, public betas, stuff like that?
Yeah, it's quite stressful when you're in a challenge and then you're trying to get through it and then it just glitches and you're like, oh my god.
It takes away. I've always found that, say if you're in like a tensionful moment, you're about to beat the thing, and then it glitches into a wall and becomes unkillable.
Yeah.
You're like, I've just spent an hour trying to
trying
beat
to do
this,
that one thing.
and now it's physically impossible in
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah, I now need to reload.
It's so annoying.
Waste
That's
of
like
time.
on the verge of crying when that happens. You're like,
But like, you wouldn't expect that from a film, would you? You wouldn't expect a film
No.
to get to the end of the moment, and then right before it cuts to the climactic big finish of the film, it goes back 10 minutes,
yeah.
or it just freezes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why gaming studios get away with it.
Yeah.
They're like filmmakers or TV makers or...
I think it's just because not enough people complain, but at the same time, too many people complain.
I always feel like the gaming community gets a bad rap for complaining about
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
He says on a podcast that so far has just been complaints about
About how bad games are.
they're terrible. I'm going to keep buying them and playing them, but they're all terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's talking about glitches and stuff. I was running a Formula One Grand Prix the other day, and then my teammate just suddenly glitched into the pits and never emerged. Like, I ran an extra 7 laps. Now, if my car was broke, I would have had to deal with that. Like, I would have had to drive about with damage because I couldn't pit because he was stuck there. It just completely ruined the race experience. It's like, how am I meant to react to things that might happen? Let's say the safety car's called and my tyres are gubbed. I can't get new tyres because I can't get into the pit lane. I'd just be stuck behind my teammate who's eternally sitting there.
Yeah.
It's just a pain in the backside that ruins the whole experience sometimes of what you want to achieve in
Yeah.
a race or
Like, when
in
you're-
any game.
And online games and stuff, yeah. That happens quite a lot sometimes, though.
That's the thing that bugs me. It does happen a
Yeah,
lot.
a lot.
Online, you can maybe understand a bit better because
Yeah.
there's loads of people with different connections and everything. But
Yeah.
offline, it should not be
Yeah.
happening offline. Well, that's just the core game running as it should do. Speaking about core games and things, I'd like to talk about the newest Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, not having a single player.
Which one? Black Ops.
Black Ops 4.
I thought we were still in Black Ops like 2. No?
No, 4 now, Joseph, 4.
Oh God.
Not having a single player campaign.
What?
Yeah, just at all. It replaced single player with a battle royale mode.
Yeah.
So you can't just play it yourself.
No, you're
No.
stuck
Why?
eternally online.
That's horrible.
Like, if any other game would have done that, there'd been massive uproar.
Yeah.
Let's say, I'll come back to the Formula 1 example. Let's say a Formula 1 game didn't include career mode, didn't include offline single player. If you don't enjoy playing online and you've bought that game expecting the single player experience,
Yeah.
Was it paid
would
to
you
win?
be annoyed?
Was there features in it that you could pay to get better?
There quite possibly was microtransactions and loot boxes and stuff, yeah. And we can come to loot boxes shortly. But what's your views on that? Games just not putting in a single player experience?
No, I hate that.
No, that's
Yeah.
really bad.
That's like if GTA didn't have it online or anything else, any of the good features it had. It would just be like you walking about and then getting in cars and getting out. You genuinely wouldn't be able to do anything.
This is like the 5th time I've mentioned, but Fallout 76. Just because I'm really annoyed about it. Slightly late to the party, but still. That didn't... See, when they announced it, because Fallout has been single-player games for all of its existence. They've been amazing, good, excellent storytelling. They went, it'll be multiplayer only, but you'll still be able to play it on your own. And you couldn't. It moved purely to a multiplayer-only system.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Or, what do you call it? One of my favourite memories, I can't remember, which Call of Duty is it? Where you go through Stalingrad as a sniper.
World at War.
Is it World at War?
Yeah.
See the single-player campaign at Call of Duty World at War, set during World War II. One of my favourite memories is sitting on the couch with a cup of tea, a blanket, and just playing through that entire campaign on like a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what more could you want?
It would be like if Portal 2 didn't put in single player. Well, the whole point of that game is getting to grips with it in the single player and then going to the multiplayer once you understand the game's systems. You wouldn't just go to the multiplayer, especially if you've not played the original Portal, because you've
You don't know
basically
what
got
to
no
do.
idea how to play.
Yeah. And then all the other people know how to play and then you're like, oh, come back.
Yeah.
One of the things that always bugged me is when games get rid of the single player campaigns,
Mhm.
but like, it just don't fix the multiplayer to cope.
Yeah, with like the increased stress that it's going to be
Mhm.
under.
Yeah.
So like, see, the good old days. See if, like, for instance, the multiplayer crashed on a game, you'd go and play the single player campaign
Mhm.
because you still could. It was still offline. You could still play it whenever. Or there was a, what do you call it? The Wi-Fi went down. It probably doesn't happen anymore with all these fancy gadgets. Gadgets. But like, if the Wi-Fi went down, or if you were getting something like, for instance, getting a router changed,
Yeah.
for those few hours, I'd just sit and put in a single player game and just have some fun myself. I don't need all these fancy gadgets.
Yeah.
You don't need friends. What are friends?
The computer pixels are my friends, Christopher.
But speaking of single player campaigns, I'd like to ask you a less serious question. Joseph, what would you say your fondest memories of single player campaigns are?
Come back to me. Let me think.
Kenta?
What was the question?
What's your fondest
too
memory
busy
of a
laughing.
single player campaign?
Do you know yours?
No.
Do you want to tell
don't
us while we all think?
Yeah.
I'd say mine's is probably playing through the Modern Warfare trilogy for the first time. Going Modern Warfare 1, 2 and 3, watching the story and the characters develop. Rest in peace, Soap McTavish, an absolute legend.
It's a
But
reference
yeah,
these Fortnite kids won't be getting, Christopher.
exactly. Look, going through that trilogy, that entire story was just amazing. And now as they've started to, or the Halo campaign, my first main campaign was Halo 3. That was probably the first game I sat down and played from start to finish. I'm in love with Halo 3 and still love Halo 3. Look, in the Master Chief Collection, that's probably the only game I play. I'll go and play like my highlights from Halo 3.
Was it Halo 3 or Halo 2 where they finally decommissioned the servers? But there was still a load of guys sitting on one server and they all just refused to leave.
I think it might have been Halo 2. I believe Halo 3's Xbox 360 servers are still online.
They were on it for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Just constantly they were all sitting on the game.
Just not leaving. Yeah.
To stop them closing the final server. I was going to say, my favourite memory, yeah, I do remember this. I think I had 8
Was it Club Penguin?
It wasn't Club Penguin. I think I, on the cusp of being a teenager, like 12, 11,
Uh-huh.
went into game, it had a bit of terror on me. And I remember buying Fallout New Vegas, and I think Fallout 3, but it was the first time I'd ever played Fallout. And I just remember, I bought Skyrim. I went in to buy Skyrim, and I'd also bought Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3. And I remember just sitting for like, I think it was during the summer holidays, a week, and just...
Yeah, I remember watching your activity status and it was just permanently Bethesda games.
Yeah, but see...
And you'd patch everyone, we'd all send you party invites and you'd just ignore us.
But it was such a good week. See, playing those games for the first time, they were good fun.
Yeah.
There were glitches, anything, but that made them funnier.
Yeah.
Have
Kenza?
you settled, Kenza?
So, I don't know. I think Assassin's Creed. When I played that the first time.
Which
I was
one?
Like, I don't know. I've got all of them near enough. I think it was like the first one though.
Back in the good old days.
Yeah, when it first like kind of came out, and my brother had it, and I was like, I'm playing this. Leave me alone.
So that's a good segue. After we'll get Maya's opinion first. First game you ever owned? What do you think about? What was your favourite memory, Maya? It is hard to think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favourite memory of single player?
Mine's was when I had a PS2.
Mm-hmm.
Was it The Simpsons Hit and Run?
Oh my
No.
god, that's so good. No, I'm sorry, that was the best game in the whole entire world.
It's an
It still
excellent,
is.
excellent game.
It was
That's
brilliant.
so
I know
good.
for a fact that at Christmas, Jack, to this day, still gets it out and just bashes it for a week in the first week of the
Yeah.
Christmas holidays
Oh.
and completes it every year in 1 week. That's a tradition. Oh, it's such a great game. You're saying?
It was Scooby Doo. Genuinely, it was so good.
I owned a few Scooby-Doo games in my day.
I never
I
did.
still do.
I owned a couple SpongeBob games on the DS, but
Oh my
I never
God.
did own a Scooby-Doo game.
Did you own
Everyone
a
had
Did you own a DS?
Yeah. I had like 4.
I had 2, I think.
I had 2.
Oh,
I
Mario.
still have 2.
Mario.
Super Bros 2.
So
Oh my
good.
god. No,
So
not
good.
good.
Mario
See the
Kart
very
DS?
original game?
Yeah.
That, I was on like the very last level one time, and my brother like hit me with a baseball bat. And then
As you do.
yeah, but then I lost the game, and I was like on the last life kind of thing, on the last level where it's like all ice,
Ooh.
and it made me break my DS, and then I blamed it on him. But anyway,
I
that was like ultimate rage. But that was the best game ever. It still is. I don't know what it is, but I want to play it now.
Fair enough. I was going to say, one of my absolute favourite memories, the good old days of gaming, is sitting in a room in like the back room of one of my friends' houses with 4 or 5 of my friends and all playing Mario Kart
Oh my god.
in
Yeah.
the same
Yeah.
game, but genuinely like throwing stuff at each other to try and distract each other. It was such an excellent.
I still occasionally break out my DS for a game of Mario Kart.
Yeah.
It's quite jolly.
It's a great
Right.
game.
I heard Kenza mention Assassin's Creed, and also we were talking about Call of Duty and things. It brings us back to one of our more serious points.
Oh,
Are
God.
some franchises getting oversaturated? Your Assassin's Creed, your Call of Duties, are there too many of them?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely Call of Duty, because I
More so
don't.
for Call of Duty.
Yeah. 100%.
How many Call of Duties are there now?
I don't even know.
So
Did they release
many.
one a year? When did the first one come out?
2 seconds, I'll go through it. Classic, 2, 3, 4, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, World at War, Black Ops 1, 2, 3, 4, Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare,
Ghost.
Ghosts, and we'll put in
Remastered.
Call of Duty 2019. I'm not counting the remasters because they're essentially the same game. 15 Call of Duties that I can get off the top of my head.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Basically the same.
In
game.
comparison, and around the same time, Bethesda have made how many games? 6? Half as many games. But you could get infinitely more fun, I think, out of a game that's had longer to develop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed, they've moved to a slightly different development cycle. They're not releasing every year anymore. It seems to be every 2 years. They're spending some time on their games. What's your view on that? Have Ubisoft made the right decision,
you rather
or should they
wait?
move back to a yearly cycle?
No, I'd rather wait. Because you have the other games that have previously come out. So just play them or play a different game that you have. Like, you can wait 2 years for a brilliant game to come out rather than like a month and a half to get like a beta that doesn't even work that you have to pay for. Then the game comes out like 2 months after that and it's like the exact same and you have to pay money for it and it's not even any better. So like I'd rather get like a good product worth the money, good game that's going to keep me occupied for like a year and a half, maybe, probably not.
I think the biggest example of games being used as a cash cow without them actually changing anything is EA's FIFA series.
Oh my god, glitches and that are weird.
How many
Yeah.
FIFAs have there been? What are we on FIFA?
Well, we're currently on
18.
FIFA 19.
Yeah.
It's only, I don't want to date this, what? March?
Yeah, it's March 2019.
Yeah.
The game comes out every year. And what do they actually change? The only thing that FIFA and EA, like the FIFA development studios, are focusing on these days is Ultimate Team, because that's making them so much money. Like career mode, the actually enjoyable mode in the game, has been left abandoned since about FIFA 12. All they do is give it a fancy new user interface every year, sometimes, and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Like, the press conference panel's been the same since about 2012. Player conversations, you can't even reply to them. But let's say your new youth player comes in and was like, "Boss, I want to play more games." You can't turn around and say, "Oh well, maybe if you get your skill levels up, like in training, I'll be able to play you more." You just need to play them in more games, or they'll quit. It's like there's no way to actually respond to anything. And it's just sitting there. It's play the game, make money, buy players if you're doing the manager, or in the
Yeah.
player career, just play the games. There's no depth to the game. Like it's in those other modes, like career modes or pro clubs, because it's not making EA any money.
Can you play online FIFA? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what Ultimate Teams are mainly online mode.
alright. Because I don't really like FIFA just because of the fact that it was like, I never liked it. I don't know, like playing it just was so boring for me.
I guess you really need to be a football fan to be into FIFA.
Well, I like playing football in real life
Yeah.
because I'm good at it, but on just FIFA, it annoys me because like when it does like glitch and like lag, and it's so annoying.
I was going to a point of comparison. Valve
Yes.
have made some excellent games, right?
Even though they can only count to 2.
I was going to raise that point of, say for instance, TF2, Portal 1 and 2, Half-Life 2. 5 games.
Yeah.
Would you add any more to that list? Of the Gmods is just a
Gmod's
mod
just a...
for Half-Life.
Yeah.
5 games. And when did the first of those come out? Was it not? It was before.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
I could probably tell you it is a longer time scale than the FIFA games, which have released.
Well, FIFA has been releasing since about 96.
So what would that be now? 23
23
games?
years.
23 games.
Possibly not 23 games, but definitely 23 years. That since FIFA started.
Fair enough. But that you can see the time and effort that went into those games compared to went into a game like FIFA.
Yeah.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
So, speaking on things like that, should the big franchises be getting a new entry every year? Should they move to biannual cycles?
No. Well, no to a new entry every year.
Or should
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
take breaks every so often? I know Assassin's Creed took a year off once to focus on the film. That wasn't the best, to be
Film was
completely
horrible.
honest.
I actually didn't watch it.
But
Didn't watch it. Did you see it?
yeah, I seen it.
Was it?
I wasn't impressed,
It was really bad.
to say the least. But what's your opinions on yearly release cycles? Should they be abandoned,
Yeah.
Joseph?
You seem more
Kenza?
into
Oh,
it than I
okay.
do.
Yeah, they should. I just don't see the point in it because, what they're doing is, releasing a game, getting all their like gamers in their audience to play it, purchase it, and then it's like they've played it because they know that there's another game going to come out the year after. So it's like a speed gaming kind of thing where it's like, right, have this game, buy it, play it for like a week, it's finished. Then you have to wait another year to play another game that's probably just going to be similar in every single way possible with like the tiniest wee changes, and it's just going to be the exact same thing over and over again every single year. When you can like have a game, make it longer, it's worthwhile actually buying it, playing it. It'll take up quite a few months or something to like actually finish the game, and then because there's so many aspects to that game.
You want some replayability.
Yeah, you can
what you're saying.
replay it until like the next game comes out.
I was going to say, I have invested. I keep talking about Bethesda. I have invested.
It's almost like you like Bethesda games, Joseph.
Who could ever say so? I have invested more hours than most people have been alive in the Skyrim series, or just the Skyrim game. I've played Oblivion and Morrowind, but so many hours in Skyrim. I've never completed the game.
Never
I've
100% of it.
Never 100% finished the game. I've played it more than I've played any other game, but I've just never finished it.
Yeah.
And it's got that replayability. The other thing I was going to mention with release cycles, like on a yearly basis, I don't really agree with, is I think the difference between Fallout 3, I know Fallout New Vegas came in the middle between them, but Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 was around, I think, 5 years-ish, I think.
Yeah, I think
Ish.
roughly it was, yeah, because they moved console generation.
But see, Fallout 4, for all of its faults, was ridiculously, what's the best way of putting it? Modernised from Fallout 3. I loved Fallout 3, but it was a dated game. It was a time of its time. But the graphics, and it wasn't perfect, there was loads of bugs in all Bethesda games. The quests didn't last that long, really short story. But see if they'd release a Fallout game every year, I think they'd still be producing Fallout 3 level material. They wouldn't have had the time to revolutionise their game in that way.
My opinions on annual release cycles, biannual release cycles?
No, I think it's better to wait because then you get like a better product than what you would have got if it was just a year.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So I think we're all in agreement. Annual release cycles are mints.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes today's podcast. Just one final question for you all. What's the plans for this year's gaming scene? What game are you most looking forward to? Joseph?
Don't do this to me. Kingdom Come Deliverance has got a few more DLCs to come out, which I'm looking forward to. I can't really say other than that.
Yeah.
I can't say more than that.
Maya?
Whatever comes.
What are you looking forward to?
Last of Us 2. I cannot wait till that comes
It
out.
does look good.
Yeah.
Kenta?
Mortal Kombat.
I must say the one I'm looking forward to, the rumour mill's going around, I'm quite disappointed I'm saying that. Call of Duty 2019 has been rumoured to be Modern Warfare 4, also being packaged with Modern Warfare 2 remastered. So if that's true, I'll be really looking forward to that because I love the Modern Warfare series.
It's a good series.
Yeah. So, again, that concludes today's podcast. I'm excited to announce the next podcast topic is going to be on conspiracy theories, and for the first time, it's going to be filmed. So you're going to be able to watch all of our wonderful reactions to
For instance,
the
Ken's
discussions.
horrendous stabs.
Yeah.
Just it's not for real though, so don't hate me because you hate me. Thanks.
So-
Yeah, the conspiracy theories.
As next week.
It's been a matter of debate.
Yeah. And then we also have one or two more planned. I can announce one of them will be a second Brexit podcast coming to you to be released on the 29th of March. Conveniently, Brexit Day.
It may
Whoa.
not be.
It may not be, but at this moment in time, it is. So that's what to look forward to. Thanks for listening. Leave us a like, subscribe if you enjoyed it, and drop us a comment on the blog, on Twitter, or even on the YouTube video if you're able to, and tell us what you think. Thanks. Cheerio.